Also this week on the Headley Highlight Show's Royal Corner, darlings. Let's jump all over the BAFTAs. Yes. So first of all, Boo Boo Kitty Katie, the idol one, and the Green-Eyed King in Waiting were available to go to the BAFTAs. They weren't available for the King's premiere of his video that had, 15 seconds of Harry in it, which is the only reason anyone was watching it. They didn't go to that premiere 2 weeks ago, but they got all dolled up and went down to the BAFTA. And as you can see from the pictures, the body language speaks volumes. If you looked at the way they were together, there was absolutely no, you couldn't see the love. The love wasn't even present. They just were standing side by side. And what's happened also is that some of the images of the Doolittle Duchess, Boo Boo Kitty Katie, they were not using Photoshop. And when they don't use Photoshop, doesn't she look like someone that hasn't had Photoshop and is desperate to need Photoshop? Those pictures of her were not, and that dress, what was that? A tablecloth wrapped around a toothpick. Please, people, no, you needed something else there. Maybe some teletape to push things up, give you a little bit of form. Otherwise, it was just the beanpole look with long trestles from the Peckham aunties. So they rocked up to the BAFTAs. Don't forget, the Green-Eyed King in Waiting, he's the patron of the BAFTAs. Then we had an incident where a person called, I think his name is John Davison, who is the screenplay about his life is based on him. He has Tourette's. And in the entire evening, he spent the evening, I think, on a number of occasions, blurting out racial slurs. And then we were told that as black people, we needed to turn the other cheek, show grace as usual, why we were abused and disrespected in a public space. And what did the patron of the BAFTAs say about that? Exactly, people. Nothing. He said nothing. Yeah? He could have made a statement, because let's not forget what happened. Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo had to listen to someone shouting racial expletives behind them, and then they were told to turn the other cheek. The BBC forgot. They didn't forget. They deliberately left it in, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. They could have removed it because they had a 2-hour lead time, and they remembered to remove the statements from somebody else's acceptance speech, which said essentially Gaza needed to be free, and so did Congo. They didn't forget to take that out, but they left the racial slurs in, and then they broadcast it and promulgated it across the airwaves. And the Green-Eyed King in Waiting and Boo Boo Kitty Katie, as the patron and presumably patroness of this event, remained silent, and the whole thing looked terrible. And to me, they should have come out and said something. They should have made some sort of statement. They should have effectively said, look, we don't support that, because the House of Windsor has already been identified as being an institution that has problems with racism. Yeah, they are a racist institution, and we should not be having any problems with that. Look, people, if you don't like that, just look at how they treat people, their involvement in the slave trade, their continued avarice and greed in terms of their colonies, and look at how they treated the Duchess when she came there. So you had a chance to counter that conversation, and you did what you usually do, which is absolutely nothing, because you're not interested in issues or concerns or anything like that. The Green-Eyed King in Waiting and Boo Boo Kitty Katie are only interested in maintaining the gravy train and trying to be more popular than they currently are.